The regular season of 2023 is winding down. Several spots in conference championship games have already been claimed. What games in Week 12 will affect the remaining unsecured berths? Let us take a look at the races in the 10 football subdivision conferences. If Louisville wins at Miami this week, the Cardinals will face Florida State in the Atlantic Coast Conference Championship game. If Louisville would lose to the Hurricanes, then North Carolina State, and Virginia Tech have a mathematical chance to advance to the conference championship game. In the American Athletic Conference, Southern Methodist, Texas, San Antonio, and Tulane are all 6-0 in conference games. Memphis, at 5-1, still has a shot with some help. The winner between Ohio State and Michigan will most likely face Iowa in the Big Ten Conference Championship game. The winner of Nevada-Las Vegas at Air Force will automatically advance to the Mountain West Conference Championship game, while the loser would have to finish ahead of Fresno State, Boise State, and San Jose State to have a rematch. In the Pacific 12, Washington and Oregon control their paths for a rematch in the conference championship game. Arizona and Oregon State can still advance, but will need some help. In the Sun Belt, Troy should face James Madison, assuming that the Dukes win one of their two remaining conference games, and the NCAA rescinds its ridiculous rule barring new FBS members like James Madison from competing in the postseason. 7 key matchups across 7 conferences will go a long way to determine which teams will participate in their respective conference championship games. UNLV travels to Air Force. The winner will automatically be in the Mountain West Conference Championship game. The loser will not necessarily be eliminated, but would have to win the final regular season game to have a shot to advance to the conference championship game. Buffalo travels to Miami of Ohio. Miami would wrap up the Mid-American Conference Eastern Division by defeating Buffalo this week. Otherwise, the Red Hawks could still clinch the division by ending the regular season with a win at Ball State. Texas will travel to Iowa State to face the Cyclones for the final time as a member of the Big 12. Texas would nearly lock up a spot in the conference championship game with a win. Iowa State would remain in realistic contention to reach the Big 12 Conference Championship game with a win. Illinois will travel to Iowa. In the final year of the divisional format for scheduling, Iowa would lock up the Big Ten Western Division with a win. Otherwise, Iowa would need to defeat Nebraska in the regular season finale. Washington travels to Oregon State. The Huskies will be in the Pacific 12's final conference championship game if the Huskies win. Oregon State will remain in contention for the conference championship game with a victory. This matchup will be their final meeting as members of the soon-to-be defunct Pacific 12 Conference. Southern Methodist will travel to Memphis. A loss by Memphis would eliminate the Tigers and nearly secure the trip to the conference championship game for Southern Methodist. Memphis holds the advantage in this series, although more recently the series has been competitive. North Carolina State will travel to Virginia Tech. The loser of this matchup will be eliminated from contention for the Atlantic Coast Conference Championship game. 14 of the all-time meetings, all of those occurring between 1902 and 1986, occurred at off-campus sites. That is all for this week. Most, if not all, of the berths in conference title games should be claimed this week. Check back next week for your shot of insight on college football with a heavy chaser of snark.